Hello, John here, the drummer of Portraits, and I wanted to provide an update for both the people who have donated to the Kickstarter campaign as well as those who may not yet be familiar with the Kickstarter campaign. So first, for the people who aren't familiar, we have created a Kickstarter campaign for Portraits for funding and finalizing our debut album, our full-length debut album. So if you haven't seen the first Kickstarter video, definitely check that out. It gives you a lot of behind-the-scenes information, a lot of teasers for songs that you haven't heard yet, as well as some personal information about Ben and I that maybe you don't know yet. And for the donors, thank you so much for your support. We've officially crested the 50% mark toward our end goal. And when you compare our project to other similar projects by other bands, creating albums, as well as by other YouTubers doing similar projects, our total goal is only a fraction of the percentage of what typically people are asking for these sorts of projects. And the reason being is that we have personally funded this project up to this point, and what this amount of the Kickstarter will not cover, we will find other means to finish and fund this project. Things like orchestral elements, strings, and other things. But what we're asking for and what the goal of this Kickstarter is to get me to the UK to join Ben in the studio, in a professional residential studio for 2 weeks, so that we can record all in one go all of our songs. And we're already 8 songs in. We've already written 8 songs. So our goal is 10 songs on the album. More than likely we'll have 11 or 12. We're really excited about the music that we're making. We're going to give you a few more teasers before. But in terms of the Kickstarter campaign, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, haven't looked at the donation levels, we have a lot of fun things. The most popular donation level so far is the $40 level, which provides you with the deluxe package, which is a signed physical copy of the CD after it's produced and mastered and finished, together with a thumb drive with the videos of behind-the-scenes recording information in the studio. We're going to make a mini documentary, maybe even a full-length documentary to put on this thumb drive. You also get access to a private Facebook page with other donors to the campaign. You also get neat little things like original Portraits guitar picks, as well as a original Portraits art bumper sticker. And we'll even choose 4 questions for anybody who donates at the deluxe package or above. We'll take 4 questions and answer those in a video and post those on our YouTube pages. One of the more popular donation levels, which I did not expect, is the nerd package, the nerd level, which I kind of just added at the last minute, not thinking that many other people would enjoy it as much as I would, but it's for those people who kind of share an interest in the deeper meaning behind all of the songs. And Ben and I have just been really pouring our hearts into these songs and using lots of complex ideas behind the songs, both in terms of the lyrics, lyrical source material, as well as deep mathematical constructs behind the structure of the song itself in terms of time signature changes and even tempo related to the time signature and these sorts of things. There's tons of thought. We're not doing anything just off the cuff here. We're really planning this out, and we're really excited about the end product. But what you get with this nerd package is an insight into everything going into it. So I'll basically be making a syllabus like I do for my college courses that I teach, and providing references and source material and peer-reviewed articles about Karl Popper, you know, and all of these scientists that we're dealing with in here. And you will come out with a, you know, a level of knowledge as you would if you were taking a college course. So there seems to be some interest in that, so I'm very happy about that. And then the higher tier levels of donation include things like signed drumsticks, signed drum heads, signed cymbals. Ben had this incredible algorithm, original art, Portraits guitar that sold on the first day, so that's gone. Some of the higher tier elements of my drum kit that I'm actually including as prizes are this beautiful DW Performance Series steel snare, which just went today. Thank you very much to Lee Holdaway for donating at the level of the snare drum. I'm also using some of my older drums, which I've used in all my past videos and all of this, books 1 through 3 drum videos that I've created. If you remember, I used to play on a Gretsch set, which was a mixed Renown and Catalina maple drum kit. So I'm selling those toms and that snare. And there are 3 toms off that kit, which I'm selling. So the 10-inch Renown maple tom has already gone. Thanks again to Joel Parr of Naples, Maine for donating at that level. But the remaining ones are this 10-inch Catalina maple tom, as well as the accompanying 12-inch Catalina maple tom, and this Catalina maple 14-inch snare drum, which as you see, I've decorated the head on this, and I'll do the same. I'll sign the head. I've left some space for Benn's signature down here, but this is a snare drum I used to use in my older videos as well, and it matches these Gretsch toms that we have. Now, we may sell out of those fast, so I'm going to update and add new things to our list of donation levels. So I'll be adding, you've seen this before, this is my 13-inch piccolo snare, Orange County piccolo snare. You can see again I've decorated the snare head on this. And I'll also throw in, at a donation level, this really nice little DW 10-inch piccolo tom. I used to also play this in my various videos. I played it in several videos. It's a neat little drum, but I'll put this into one of the donation levels on Kickstarter. All right, so another big update I wanted to tell you about is that Ben and I, if the Kickstarter project is funded, we are going to make an unofficial release of our second single, which is currently termed Song 5. We're going to have a different title for it, obviously. But both Ben and I are in love with this song. It's just, it came together in an amazing way. And what we'll do is, if it's funded, then shortly after it's funded, we will record it. I'll record it here in Colorado. Ben will record guitars and vocals and bass in the UK, and we'll put it together like we did with From 4.28. It'll be professionally mastered, of course, and sound great, but we're going to release that unofficially to only the Kickstarter pledgers. So you'll get a little treat shortly after the project is funded. And then, of course, we'll re-record it when we go to the UK to record the album officially, which is going to be either the end of this year in December, or possibly early January of next year. So I'm getting really excited about this because it looks like it's going to be funded. We're on track to get funded. You know, we still have a long 30 days or so left on the Kickstarter campaign, and we're already halfway there. So I'm excited, you know, not just because it's going to be funded, but because the album will be realized. You know, we'll actually do it. And both Ben and I think that we are producing and creating some really special music here. You know, some people may be skeptical of infusing music with too many intellectual components, dealing with scientists of yore, scientific topics, and having really complex structures behind the songs. Because let's face it, you know, a lot of really good music, a lot of popular music and really good music is primarily at an emotional level. It hits you at an emotional level. And the lyrics are sometimes and oftentimes very vapid and relatively meaningless. You know, they deals a lot with love stories or getting your heart broken. And our music's not like that. We're dealing with scientists, 17th century, 18th century scientists and their discoveries. But we're bringing in an emotional element in terms of the human story behind the scientific achievements. And we're infusing the songs with a great amount of deep thought. And to me, that is my favorite music. You know, bands like Tool do this successfully, and they produce music that on the first listen sounds great. You know, it's catchy, yet the more you listen to it, the more you realize what an amazing amount of effort and deeper meaning the song has. And we didn't set out with this particular formula. Ben and I didn't say, hey, let's create music like so-and-so, or let's create music that's really complex and intellectual and emotional. We just started making music, and it just turned out to be that way. And by the way, Ben is bringing so much into this that you know, if it was just me doing this, you know, the way I'm creating this music, to send to Ben is, you know, I create an entire song structure with the time signature changes and chorus, verse, and all of these other things in between, and then I send it to Ben. All the drums done as a template. You know, things change as we go on, and then he writes music over the top of that. And I can't imagine being in his shoes and trying to write music over some of these parts. I'm surprised that the first drum clip I sent him last year, I'm surprised he didn't run for the hills and you know, erase my email from his contacts, but because it was just insanely complex. And he was very polite and said, well, you know, let's actually form some structures in the song. But even now, you know, one of the songs I had an inspiration for, I was driving to one of my project areas, and, you know, I'm driving at night by myself in my car, and suddenly a beat comes to me. I start tapping it on the steering wheel, and I record it on my iPhone so I don't forget it. And the beat sounds like this, the basic beat. And I was like, that sounds like a great beat. And then I came back home and after the project, and I put it down in Logic and mapped it in terms of time signature, and it's 13/8 time signature. And, you know, I'm doing other things with it in the song. And then I send it to Ben's way. But he's such a trooper, you know. He's actually game to do this, and comes from a background of classical composing. You know, he has a very trained musical eye for these things, and that he is so game to do this and producing such amazing music to put on top of these drum parts blows my mind, and I think it will blow your mind too. So thanks again to everybody from the bottom of my heart who have so generously donated their hard-earned money to our Kickstarter campaign. Every day that we get new campaign donations, I'm just in awe at the generosity from our listeners. So thanks so much for that, and we will be updating everybody again soon. Take care.